Hey guys, so today I am going to give you my opinions. We're not going to look at the documents. We're just going to give you my opinions, having spent most of the weekend reading and looking and skimming these very long, incredibly condensed and almost snarky. It feels like you are part of being a Reddit mod. I've been a moderator for MTG Salvation back in when MTG Salvation was the largest forum. This was before Reddit, really, for Magic the Gathering. And it feels like I'm back in those days where you're just deluging through a bunch of garbage, hoping to find some form of some diamond in all this garbage, right? The first part is how long this is. It is not typical. I don't want anyone to think this is normal. It's not normal for a motion to quash to be this long. It does not need to be this long. The arguments are quite simple, in my opinion, and why all this other information needs to be included again reminds me of my moderator days, where if you ban somebody, they will write you paragraph after paragraph, page after page of how you're a bad person and they're a good person and they don't deserve to be banned. And they would like to be unbanned. They mention their kids, their pets, their dog. This is exactly that type of feeling. And it's a unique feeling if you are a moderator of a very interactive subreddit, in this case, or in my case, a forum. Now, the second part is a law firm. I always talk about the law firm. The first thing you do when you get sued as a defendant is you look up who's suing you. Obviously, you probably know that. But look at what law firm they hired. Did they hire a good law firm? Did they hire a bad law firm? And what is their record, right? All of this is public, by the way. You can search the court listener database by lawyer. I don't know if you guys know, like lawyer. I use Westlaw. Uh, Basically, there are two big search engines that lawyers use: Westlaw and LexisNexis, and each of them allow you to search by lawyer. So you want to see how recent their cases are. Did they win? Did they lose? Are they litigation? Are they mostly transactional? Were there any notable victories or losses that they have received recently? You have to understand your opposition, right? This law firm, let me just say this, and we'll save it for a future video because there's a lot more to cover, and I don't want to not cover the points. I don't want. It's not enough for. It's not the point of this video to cover the law firm. I'll just say the law firm is very interesting, right? They have an associate agree to quote write a 400-page. I mean, we are talking about a very, very large. Let me actually get you the exact page number. The Declaration of Leah Rosa Volek is not 300 pages, 400 pages. It's 548 pages of content. That is very impressive for a associate lawyer. Again, she is not a partner. She is a associate lawyer. Now we have the delay, as always, right? How do you respond to a 700 plus page motion to quash? Well, you ask for an extra week, right? That's a smart thing to do. Is ask for an extra week, and it will be granted as a professional courtesy. Everyone understands, and even if the defendant's lawyers didn't want to grant it, the judge would have forced it anyway, given probably the judge needs time to read this. Now, the third part is, imagine you're the judge and you go to work one day and you're like, oh, I hope for a really easy case, or I hope for something that I can, and then this drops on your stuff. Like it's almost like when I was talking about a jury watching Casey Tron respond to the Hassan nuke, which is Ethan Klein's response to Hassan. And imagine the jury is older individuals and they have no idea who Hassan, Casey Tron, Ethan Klein are, or why they're beefing, and trying to figure this out. This is basically the paper version of describing a multi-year beef, right? Because to understand what the defenses are, you have to understand the background, the previous relationship between H3Snark and Ethan Klein. At least that's what the H3Snark believe. Yeah, so the judge is looking at this, and I'm sure that the judge is not a snarker. I'm sure the judge probably doesn't even use Reddit, and they're just trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and is there really a place that this happens, right? So he's reading screenshot after screenshot, maybe watching videos. There are a lot of items, exhibits that were personally handed to the judge that are not actually able or presented in a PDF form, that we don't know what they are. Maybe they're private items, or maybe they're just videos, right? So the judge, just imagine the judge reading 740 pages of this, then having to watch all the links on the videos. Remember, there are a lot of links to like H3Snark. There are a lot of links to YouTube videos, including my own. My own YouTube video has been linked, and I'm certain that a hard copy, that I'm sure that my YouTube video has been downloaded, and a hard copy has been put in a USB, and that USB has been handed to the judge. And I'm positive that is what happens, because that's what happened in my previous case, where you cannot, at any time, a third-party YouTuber may delete their video, may make their video private, so you need to download a hard copy before you include it in your motion. So they're not only reading 700 pages. Like, how much is a Harry Potter book? I know Chamber of Secrets, the second book, is not 700 pages. So they're reading Harry Potter length books of this. It's hard to even describe what this is. And then they're watching hours and hours of videos, because part of the discussion, of course, is did Denins commit copyright? And it's not necessarily like you have a judge, right, who that's their duty. Their duty is to figure out if Denins committed copyright infringement. This judge kind of has to figure this out too, because if the argument is Denins did not do copyright infringement, then how can I be guilty of contributory copyright infringement? Then the judge has to figure out, hey, is Denins guilty of copyright infringement? Now, one part, and hopefully this is more legal logic, and hopefully the people who watch at this point are interested in this, because it's kind of boring. You cannot believe anything this says, because we're not a discovery. So let me make sure you guys understand this. This is the defendant Doe's version of events. It will be extremely biased in his or her favor. It will be extremely snarky in his or her favor. It will be written in the best, to present them in the best light, right? So there's always two sides to the story, right? There's Ethan Klein's side, and then there's the H3Snark mod side. So this is the rosiest, best, and most complete argument they have available to them. That doesn't mean they're telling the truth. So I want you guys to understand, it does not mean they are telling the truth. They could be lying. There could have been a communication. So the one thing they've said is there's been no communication between Denins and themselves. That could be a lie. So it's up to the judge to figure out, is there enough here that we have to go to discovery? So when I say that this is an entirely different case, this might have its own discovery. This might have its own other motions and motions. This may be almost the prelude, right? Because in many aspects, it's almost like what happened with Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla. Logan Paul is currently also being sued by attorney Tom and his client for the same thing, that it's a scam. If this case goes against Denins and they prove that, hey, H3Snark mods are contributory copyright, they were contributory to the copyright infringement, then that means they made a decision that Denins did indeed commit copyright infringement, and that will have a massive effect on the current case in Denins. Right now, Denins can make arguments that they didn't make, but this is why it is so fascinating, because these, obviously, the cases are connected, but you cannot believe what you read here today. They need evidence. Whether or not Denins communicated with them, what you need is discovery. You need Denin to hand over her phone, or you need these individuals to hand over their phone, which they probably don't want to do because there's probably identifiers. And this is exactly what we see with Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla is doing the best to protect his witnesses, but Logan Paul wants to see his phone. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It should be a fun case. We are all caught up. I do not expect to make a video about this tomorrow, so I'm sorry if I've inundated you with videos. I just want to get caught up, right? And I think we are caught up right now. Anyway, hi guys.